Alright, welcome back crew. It is your boy BG with the Parks Guru channel, and today we got a special video as Disney has made a huge announcement, and we don't typically launch a video here in the middle of the week, but since this went live, we had to get it out and had to try and talk about it because I'm probably one of the few people in the world who has been begging Disney for this for a long time, as I wanted them to do like every other theme park across the country does. When I buy Express Pass, I just want to be able to get in the line and go ride the ride versus having to do the whole scroll and fight to try and get a reservation at a time to come back and ride that specific ride. I mean, every other amusement park in the country already does this. I begged for it, it's here, but how do I feel about it now that it's here? Let's go ahead and dive into the details and we'll discuss it. This new system is going to be called Lightning Lane Premier Pass, and it's going to debut at Disney World on October 30th and Disneyland on October 23rd. And they're two separate systems. Even though they have the same name, they both operate a little different, they've got different pricing and some different parameters, so we're going to talk about each one individually. The first one, of course, we're going to talk about is going to be Disney World. Disney World currently uses a system called Lightning Lane Multipass and Lightning Lane Individual Pass. And this is a system that is used where you can go ahead and skip the line in Disney's lightning lanes for specific rides given during a certain time. Basically, you make a reservation using those systems where you can go ahead and skip the main or general attraction line and go ahead and get an advanced time where you can get on the ride a little bit quicker. One of the downfalls to this system is you've got to get on there and try and get a reservation, and you're fighting thousands of other guests who have this pass trying to get specific reservations for specific rides during certain times, which means you don't have a lot of control over your day. Basically, you're at the mercy of what times are available when you're trying to book times for specific rides. And I've not been a big fan of it. I just left Dollywood. We use their time saver over there. We use Universal's Express Pass all the time. We were at SeaWorld recently, Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and we've used express type systems at all these parks, and Disney's the only one that does that, where you've got to make a reservation. Every one of those other parks, I pay one price and I just get to go into the express line and have a good time during my day and not worry about burying my nose in a phone, trying to keep refreshing and hoping and praying I can get a time for a ride that I want. We actually just experienced this recently at the end of the summer on one of our last Disney trips, where we went to Epcot and we were using the Genie Plus Lightning Lane Multipass system, and all of a sudden you had to make a choice what your first ride was going to be. Of course, we selected Remy, hoping that we could get Frozen Ever After a little later in the day, but it never happened. Frozen Ever After was gone by the time we used our first lightning lane, and it never came back, which is one of the downfalls to that system. Is you're not always going to be guaranteed you're going to get the rides that you want. With this new system, that will be going away. With the Lightning Lane Premier Pass, you will pay one price and you will go ahead and be able to access any of the Lightning Lane rides, including the Lightning Lane individual rides such as Guardians of the Galaxy or Rise of the Resistance. Without making a reservation, you'll be able to get in that line at your own leisure when it's good for you. Now, this is a huge advantage for those people who might be on limited time at Disney and want to get in there and just ride the rides they want to ride without having to worry about there being reservations available for those rides on the day and the time that they're going. And for me, this was amazing. I heard this a few months back that this was probably coming, but the rumor I heard was that Disneyland was going to be getting it first, which in theory is true, but they did make the announcement for both parks at the same time. Now, there are some differences between the Disneyland system and the Disney World system. First off, the Disney World system is going to be a tiered system by park. The pricing varies on which park and which day you're going. Of course, Animal Kingdom will be your cheapest park, starting at $129 during some off-peak times, and Magic Kingdom will be your most expensive park, and if you're going during a peak time, it could be upwards of $449 for you to be able to enjoy this privilege at the Magic Kingdom, let's say Christmas or Thanksgiving week, so this system can get pretty pricey pretty fast. Now, a lot of people do like to try and park hop at Disney World. At this time, they have not announced any park hopper options for this system, so for those of you who are going to park hop, you still may be limited to the Lightning Lane Multipass, which is still going to be available, at least from what we understand, at this time. Now, apparently, park hoppers are not the only people who are going to be limited on having to use the Lightning Lane Multipass, as Disney has also announced with this new system that only people who are staying at select Disney resorts and hotels will even have the opportunity to be able to purchase the Lightning Lane Premier Pass, and even at that point, they're going to limit severely the amount of passes they sell per day, meaning that most people are still going to be using the old Lightning Lane Multipass system versus this one. But at the price point that it's at anyway, I have to imagine this system is only going to be used by a select group of people. Now, who do I feel like this pass is going to really be geared toward? Well, first, it's going to be geared to that person who's trying to squeeze in an extra park day. Maybe you've got a flight that leaves at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. and you want to go to one of the parks and still knock out all your favorite rides. The kind of person who might buy this pass would be somebody who's looking to do that. They want to skip the lines, they are on a time crunch, and they need to be able to do it at their leisure when they want to do it versus having to make the reservations. Two, that person who's going to book the VIP tour at $500 an hour. This person doesn't necessarily want the VIP guide, they just wanted that experience of being able to skip the line on all the rides. This now gives that person the opportunity to do it without having to utilize one of the VIP guides to do so. But those are your two biggest people who I'm going to see actually buying this pass, as they've priced it so expensive that I don't think your average consumer is going to go out and get this pass just on a daily basis. I mean, if you've got a family of four, we're talking it could be upwards of $1,600+ during some of the peak days to go enjoy Magic Kingdom with your family of four getting this particular pass. Now, I still think Disney will sell some, it's just not going to be a massive amount, but I think that's the way Disney was gearing this to start off with. Alright, so let's talk about Disneyland for a few moments, as Disneyland as well will be offering the Lightning Lane Premier Pass. It is, however, a little bit different than what Disney World is doing. It is still the same type of pass. You're going to be able to purchase this pass and use the Lightning Lane once per ride to go ahead and skip the regular queue without having to make a reservation. But the biggest difference, they're not offering a tiered system, at least not for the rest of 2024. It's going to be a flat price, and that flat price is going to be $400 inclusive of tax per person per day, which is a pricey option. But one of the big advantages that Disneyland has over the Disney World Pass is that pass will include the option of you being able to utilize it at both Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure. So if you have a park hopper ticket option, you're going to be able to skip the lines at both parks in one day. And to be honest, as close as those parks are together in California, if you have that kind of pass, the opportunity is almost unlimited. I truly believe if you got there at park open and stayed to park close, you could easily knock out every single Lightning Lane ride at Disneyland and DCA in one single day with that pass, which means you could reduce the amount of days you were at the park. But one of the other things I would say about Disneyland as well is Disneyland still will offer the Lightning Lane Multipass, which I believe Disneyland does a little better than Disney World does as well. Their system over there really is geared toward the people going to the park and not that person who wants to plan the trip 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So for example, the way Disneyland's Lightning Lane Multipass works, you can't actually book your first ride until you've scanned into the park, versus over at Disney World where I can do it several days in advance, which means at Disneyland, you've got a lot more opportunity if you're the kind of person who's going to get to the park early, where you can use that multipass to go ahead and book multiple rides. And if you've got Park Hopper, you can go ahead and do it in both parks as well. I really do like the Disney Lightning Lane Multipass over at Disneyland, which still makes it a hard sell at $400 for me to purchase the other pass over at Disneyland. But let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Again, I was somebody who was really excited and really wanted Disney to come out with this. I just didn't think Disney was going to make it quite so expensive. I mean, it is by far now the most expensive multi-pass you can buy, or expensive Lightning Lane type skip the line pass I think you can buy at any park, at least here in the US. And is it worth it? Only time's going to tell, but right now, I think it's going to be a tough sell for most families because that's astronomically going to up the cost of people's vacations when they're going. But again, thanks for watching, crew, and let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the new pass. We'll see you in the next one.